One of the most common questions that is asked is how to jump to a scene directly in Scratch. Are you creating a long story and by the time you're on scene 3, you do not want to keep playing from the start? You want to be able to work on the current scene. This tutorial is for you. So find out the coolest hacks to creating a long animation story using Scratch. So we are going to look at an example of a story which right now we are creating. Now, this story is a story on a farm. It starts with a girl speaking to the grandfather and then is on the farm, and then there's a scene inside their house, and it continues. The first thing, when you want to create a modular story, we have explained to you that you must build it scene wise. If you have not yet started to build your coding scene wise, then make sure that you go watch our tutorial, Creating Story with Multiple Scenes, Best Practices to Create a Modular Story, because this base, this structure really allows you to do what we're going to show you in this tutorial. So hopping back, building a story scene-wise means for every character, and this is what you would do in a real drama or a play you were doing. You would know that in this scene, what your character does or somebody else's character does, right? So similarly here, you will tell every character, that is every sprite, what they should do in the scene, whether they should appear, not appear, if appear, what do they do. And then from there till that scene does not end, it can have many things happening in parallel and things happening in sequence. But the trigger point is when that scene starts. So you look at the code, everything is on. So we are going to look at the girl's code because that is, the main protagonist of the story and is going to have a lot of code. Now in the first scene, you see that we have set her size, and because she's going to be walking in both the directions, we have also set that, and the position and the costume. All the initial settings we have been speaking to you about have been set for her. And when she finishes this, even though it, so one of the things with a lot of coders tend to do, that after this, they will just switch. Let me just show you what a lot of coders tend to do. So what somebody will do is switch backdrop to scene 2 and then continue writing the code here, right? So this makes it very difficult to do anything scene wise because it's like one whole continuous code. So no, we don't want you to do that. So once the scene has ended, we have written in the code that when I receive scene 1 over, switch backdrop to scene 2. And for every character, we have told them what to do when backdrop switches to scene 2, including the size, the position. We have not set the costume. Uh, we have set the costume, right? So now how do we start if we just don't want to watch scene 1, we want to start with scene 2? So how do we do it? So what we do is when you every time you want to start, and when you click on this green flag, it's basically you are triggering in the event when green flag clicked. We don't want to trigger this event. The trigger we want to event, the event that we want to trigger is switch backdrop. That is this event. So you can click it right here, or you can just pull the code, a standalone code somewhere. Okay, it's not going to fix anywhere, just this code, and switch backdrop to scene 2. So the moment I click on switch backdrop to scene 2, all the code which is supposed to happen in this scene 2 will trigger. All the code which has started from when backdrop switches to scene 2 is going to trigger and start from here. Now, one of the problems you will see has happened is that the girl did not show up. And why did the girl not show up? Because I have not set a show here. Because the girl was visible in scene one. So, as a coder, I did not bother to set the show here. So, if you are truly writing a modular story, you want to make sure you don't miss out these steps. So, I'm going to switch backdrop to scene two again. And this time, you will see the girl walking right in. Everything which is happening. Because you can test a single piece of code, right? Just the girl, I can click on this code. But rest, nothing else will happen on the scene. That's not how you test your scene. You want to test the scene completely, or you want to work on the scene completely. So you want to be able to trigger the complete scene. Now, once I've finished the scene and I want to work on the scene 3, I have written the code for all the sprites, switch backdrop to scene 3. So I'm going to click on this, scene 3, and now I'm going to trigger scene 3 code by clicking on this. And here you go, the scene 3 has started. And the girl has walked in when she should. So everything is happening the way we wanted to have. And now I'm just started work on scene 4. So every time, till I don't finish scene 4, I'm going to be largely now just doing this. So whatever is supposed to happen on scene 4, I'm going to code it and I'm going to keep triggering here. I'm not going to click on the green flag till a little bit. Of course, after having done substantial amount, you want to make sure you do watch your story from the beginning, that you've not broken anything, everything is okay. Right on. So let us summarize of some of the key things you want to watch out when you're doing scene-wise coding. You want to make sure you have told every character to hide or show. If they're showing, it is absolutely good and necessary to set the position where they're going to start with, the costume they're going to start with. Now, depending upon how complex that character is, like if it is really changing direction, size, and doing a lot of things, you want to set those things too. But that doesn't need to happen for every character, characters which are not really much used in all the scenes. So you can leave all those settings. But these settings are very important, especially for all your key characters, which do change. Happy coding to all of you. Enjoy making long, beautiful animation stories because Scratch allows you to do that. And we at Panchandra Programming, we are going to be making a lot of tips and tricks for you to make this a very, very easy process. Easy to create, fun to create, easy to debug, troubleshoot, and extend as and when you want. Happy coding!